Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris Ormy. We're kicking off a new series, a new game, an old game, a new iteration. Franchise Hockey Manager 6. It released a couple of days ago. I've spent the last day playing it. The long review is up on the channel. There will be a shorter form review for those that didn't want to spend over an hour just hearing me talk about the game in very general strokes. If you want a more focused and dialed in review with an actual recommendation and score at the end of it, all in about 15 to 20 minutes. Keep an eye on the channel. That should be coming up in the next couple of days. But today we're kicking off a Let's Play series, as you would have seen. And as you know, I'm a Colorado fan. So Colorado is the team. Now in real life, we've got a good little roster being built. At this point in the season, we are 4-0 with 100%. Coming off a couple of interesting performances, a couple of overtime wins, giving up the lead a couple of times in a couple of the games, but really a decent start. Now, our star man, Nathan MacKinnon, of course, isn't really scoring at the rate you'd expect him to. However, I think the defensive core looks pretty solid at both ends of the ice. I think our defensive lines are working well. The middle six seems to be chipping in with goals, which we don't really see a lot of in previous years from the past middle six, so the newcomers are doing their bits. I think the Chuskin looks okay. Burakovsky's got a couple of decent goals. Donskoy looks like he's capable of making stuff happen. And Kadri, 200-foot player who just scored his first goal. Brings experience as well. Belmer, penalty kill, got his first goal the other day. Solid all-round player, well liked in the locker room. You know, I think they've all added something to the lineup. My star man so far would be Gruber, who, you know, is playing quite well. There are question marks. There are question marks over his career so far because in his time with Washington, he was mainly a backup. He did quite well for a period of time, but he was never sustaining that over an entire season. And when they got to the playoffs, you know, he was either sort of on a good run and taken out for the playoffs, or he wasn't playing and then circumstances thrust him into the playoffs. So not only hasn't he played like 50, 60 games in the regular season, but he also hasn't played a regular season and then gone into a playoff campaign. So with that being said, there's a lot on him, but so far so good. A lot of good young players, a couple of good drafts. And after a brief look on the game itself and what we've got, the prospect pool isn't bad. It needs to improve in a couple of places. We'll probably be doing that, like I say. But I think it's a really good team to still be able to build that has a few key pieces in play, but a few places that we can improve. Now, sadly, on the game, Gruber is not very well represented. I don't think that he's quite as good in the game as he possibly should be, but I don't know. Let's take a look at the roster, and you might see what I mean. 2.5 stars. 2.5 stars. Now, I know 2 stars to 2.5 stars, that is a solid starter at the NHL level. But 2.5 stars for Gruber, who's come off the back of a very, very impressive playoff campaign. A very good end to the season, like an amazing end to the last season as well, regular season. Then posted good numbers in the playoffs, helped us to some big results, knocking out one of the best teams, if not the best team in the league in Calgary over the regular season. And then on top of that, has started off really well so far. Now, I know this season won't be represented because these are the opening day rosters, so you can't really take into effect his form after the first 4 games because these rosters were put together and these ratings were put together before those 4 games. But still, I think it's a little bit harsh on him. Zadorov 1.5 to 2 stars. I think that's a little low as well. Eric Johnson being a 2.5. I mean, he's a top-line defenseman for us. I think that's a little harsh as well. So, at the back end, I think Avalanche not rated probably where they should be. For me, Grubauer is a 3-star goalkeeper, maybe 3.5-star potential. I'm not asking for, like, world-class players and ratings. No, we know who our big guys are, and that's fine. But, you know, for Cale Makar not to be a 5-star potential player doesn't seem right at this point, considering really what he's been doing. In as limited as it is. But the only word you can, probably everybody can agree on with Cale Makar right now is potential. The second word might be Calder, because he's by far and away the most predicted player to win that this season. There are other contenders. They are already playing well. It's going to be a long season, etc., etc. But Calder, Makar's a good show for it. 2-star, I've got no problem with. He's still young, he's still developing, but he's already an impact player. That's fine. Potential, not being 5, don't know. So we got that. We got Johnson, I put as a 3-3. I would put Zadorov as a 2.5. So minor boosts, that's all. I think they're just slightly below where they should be. We look at the forwards, and then we got a decent set of ratings. Again, Landeskog, I would say, would be a 4-star, maybe 4.5 potential, probably fully developed. So 4-star, touchdown on his ability. Kadri as well, I would say, that's probably reflective of his third-line time in Toronto, but we all know that was a false position. He is a second-line center. So I would say a solid 3-star to 3.5-star player, Kadri. Works well on both ends of the ice. That's a little bit low for me as well. And that's about it. Everything else I'm pretty okay on. So, yeah, a few little changes here and there I think would be more accurate. And yes, I am an Avalanche fan, but no, I don't believe that we're like the best team in the league. I just don't think we're as lopsided as the game says. If you look at this right now, and you look at our best players, you're going to say that our top 2 lines are going to be amazing. Defensively, we're going to be pretty poor. And while in some ways that's correct, it really isn't. Grubauer is as big a player for us as anybody outside of McKinnon, really. So a little bit more there would be nice. Kadri's a little underweighted, and like I say, Makar, Johnson, they should be a little better as well. After the top line, McKinnon, Rantanen, Landeskog, it really should be, like people like Cale Makar up there. Sam Girard should be up there as well. So, just minor gripes. Overall, though, ignoring real life and where I think they should be, it's a decent roster for Season 1. And with that in mind, I'm actually not going to make any changes for Season 1. So, twofold on this. Number one, I've already done a season in-game with the Avalanche. That was what I did yesterday to play test, to see just how much I could get out of the trade system. It is a bit tighter than in years past, or at least that's how it feels early on. I can't quite do the moves I could before. Nevertheless, I had a really, really good team. So after some trades, which included the star men, I decided to bring in. So goalie, Connor Hellebuck from Winnipeg. We went and got Lindholm as well on the left defense. Really solid there, 3-star. Dougie Hamilton at right defense. I also brought in a bunch of other like filler players, 2-star to 2.5 stars. Nobody big. Hamilton, Lindholm with 3-3s, and Hellebuck's a 4-4 goaltender. As well as that, I was able to bring in a lot of good prospects that hadn't been signed. Going into Season 2, I'll be signing Spencer Knight as the backup. We traded for him. I brought in Denisenko on the left wing. I brought in Lundmark as well in the Hellebuck deal. So yeah, there was a lot of changes being made, but basically, we kept the bulk of the side together. But Gruber out for Hellebuck. Lindholm came in to help out left defense because really there's not a first line player. Gerard is our first line player. I would say 2.5 stars, but again, that's just griping at this stage. So dealing with what we do have, like we would need a new starter there, just for this season, because long term he will be that first line left defenseman alongside McCarr and Timmins, and of course Bowen Byram coming in as well. Long term, there's your top 4. So really, it's not a bad place to be, even though I think that we're not exactly represented. But in the game, Season 1, I felt a lot more comfortable improving that. Also, Johnson, coming to the end of his time with us, I think with an eye towards getting a little bit younger, a little bit better, and trying to figure out what we're going to do, I made the choice to go with Dougie Hamilton and trade away Johnson. So I felt that improved our back end. So Hellebuck in and those two, Lindholm and Hamilton, just set us up on a top-line pairing. And that gave us Gerard and McCarr as our backups as well, which, again, is really solid for, a pair of top 4 defensemen. Gerard, McCarr, 2-star ability. Apart from that, there wasn't much done at all. I'm looking at the lines I had, and the only other one was free agent. Brian Boyle came in on the left wing. Just a bit more depth. 2.5-star player. I moved some players about. I put Tyson Jost on the center spot. I traded out Belmer. I traded out Kamenev. And so on and so forth. We really put together a decent roster. But we didn't win much. So we made it into the playoffs fairly comfortably. Got knocked out in the first round against... Or did we get knocked out in the first round? I think we did. It was either the first round or the second round, but I think we got knocked out either way to Nashville, who then got knocked out themselves. So it wasn't a great display. But overall, a really solid team that, to get into the playoffs and maybe win that first series or be competitive in that first series, that's kind of a realistic look at that team at the moment. That's what we did last season. We were competitive. We won the first series. We were competitive in the second, where we got knocked out by the Sharks. Getting knocked out by a team like Nashville, fairly similar, sort of, as we were. But I felt that I improved a lot and spent a lot to get there. And while we were very young and we were going to get much better over time, it still didn't feel like it was worth it. So Season 1 here, I'm actually making the call to make 0 trades Season 1. I'm also making the call that, a lot of these players will not get new deals. We're opening up a lot of space for Season 2. So players like Barberio probably won't be here. Ian Cole will probably trade away next season. Probably try and upgrade Gruber, and Francouz might be leaving as well if we get a young Tendy in. Graves probably won't make it. I might ship out Zadorov on the 1-year deals. Now, that's something I might do, actually. I might do a trade for someone like Zadorov away this season. Because we can't really wait until next season unless we give him a new deal, which I don't feel right in doing just to trade him next year. So maybe we'll do that. It won't hurt us this season. I don't think so. In the occasions where that would be a factor, where these guys on 1-year deals, I might look to trade them and just, put out who we can, basically. But no improving the squad in general. We're going to hold everyone together. And we'll see where we go. That also applies to the staff as well. That applies to the staff. So Bednar, I believe, is on the last year of his deal. So I'm not sure what we're going to do with Bednar. But we're going to do the staff in Season 2. We're going to do a lot of work. We might sign a free agent. If there's a good free agent out there, we might look to do that I'm not sure. And we will re-sign contracts. So Jost gets a new deal. Burakovsky will get a new deal. Yeah, probably Nishushkin, Greer, Nieto, Zadorov, maybe. Yeah, actually, they might all get new deals. Yeah, everybody there but Kamenev probably gets a new deal, obviously, for 2-star potential or above. Everyone else, we're just going to let the time run out on their contract, and that's fine. But you see in the first team, this is the prospect pool we're kind of dealing with right now. Kvachka, Annunen. I am looking to get a young goalkeeper in as our starter, and these guys are nowhere near ready. So they're probably both trade bait with decent value. So all 4 of those goalies, think of them as trade bait. Leiverman, Boykov, similar. They'll be make weights. I'll probably want to hold on to Helleson for depth. The rest of those defenders, though, in total will be a wipe. So out of this, Helleson definitely I want to keep for. Like I say, if we got Cale McCann and Connor Timmins on the right, Helleson will be number 3 there. He'll be on the bottom defensive pairing. And then we've got Girard and Byram coming through on the left. We'll get someone else in that's decent on the left as well for the 3rd pairing. So yeah, long term, that's the goals. So we are looking for a young backup goalie. So someone that, I mean, if Annunen at the end of this season is like 1 to 1.5 star ability, then maybe he'd be in that role. If not, we're going to have to look elsewhere. Maybe pick up a young left defenseman, as I say, to round out those bottom 6. On the wings, again, Tyler Weiss, maybe. The rest, possibly not. I mean, probably hold on to Morrison and Weiss. Smirnoff and Ranter out. On the right, again, I could keep them, I could not, but Bocage will be the one I think we will definitely keep. New Hook we're keeping, maybe Steinberg, but Saigon and Berzan are out. So, like what, 1 right winger? For certain at this stage, I think 2.5 stars and above bar goalkeepers will be kept. So we've got Bocage on the right, Steinberg and New Hook down the middle, Weiss and Morrison on the left, Helleson in right defense. We do need a young left defenseman. We do need a young goalie. But we're not in a bad spot. We're not in a bad spot. And if we look at the depth chart as well, we can see where everybody is. Those are our best players. We got good depth all over. I'm probably going to go with much less depth. We'll be doing a lot of trades to kind of get that down. We don't have a round 2. We have Toronto's round 3 and Florida's round 6, though. So yeah, we give up our 2 and 3, get a 3 and 6 back from Toronto and from Florida. The rest of the picks are in place. So that's where we are. That's the plan. That's the goal. If anything comes up on waivers or if we get offered a trade, I might consider that. But I'm not going to be trying to rebuild this season. So let's start thinking about how we want to do this. Because, yeah. Yeah, okay. So 1-year deals. Okay, Zadrov's the first name. I'm going to leave him till later. But Zadrov, I think that's the big discussion to have. And have your say in the comment section below. We'll probably offer him a deal. But we're probably going to be looking to trade him. I don't believe he'll be the 3rd line defenseman. He's solid. And for some reason, the pictures are kind of jacked up right now. They were okay. And like, I can regenerate the same picture with nothing. A new fictional picture, nothing. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with them. So I'll have a look into that later. Zadorov, 24, 6'5", solid defensively, solid physically. He's okay offensively and mentally, but really stay at home or a crease clearing defenseman. They're both quite similar, really, aren't they? They're both quite similar. So yeah, I don't know really what we want to do with Zads, but yeah, let me know what you think we should do and how we do. He is a big guy. He's strong. He's tough. He's, you know, quite a decent player. But I don't know if he fills out that, you know, sixth defenseman role for us. I don't know. Let's say we got Hellison, Timmins, and McCarr on the right. Do we have Zadorov to fill in that third line behind Gerard and Byram? But do we need to go for better? With $3 million on the table right now for him. That's a huge question, guys. That's a huge question for me. Colin Wilson, we can probably do a new deal for, though. Okay. Okay, let's start talking contracts. So, okay, little bit of a jump in contract, $250,000 extra, 3-year deal for Colin Wilson. I think that works quite well for us. It gives us this year, and then we've got a couple of years in which to trade him. But he's a solid fourth line winger. He can play center. Not a huge points guy, but an important player. But we might be better off trading him and getting something back, really. He's just good all over. So I'm not really worried about him. So at the moment, he says he's a third liner. I think he'll probably end up on the fourth line, so maybe worth keeping there. Maybe something worth keeping. But like I say, I don't really know right now on that one. I don't really know right now. So, Matt Nieto, it's got to be fairly cheap. 2.1 year again, couple $100,000. Upgrade gives us a 3-year deal. That gives us a year or two to play. With Nieto, again, he's probably on the opposite wing of that fourth line for me. Or third line, as it may be, Wilson and Nieto. They're fairly solid players, so yeah, I'm okay with that. Burakovsky, he could be the third line or second line. Yeah, I'm not sending him down. So we're going to have a look at his contract, and that's, again, only a couple of $100,000. Pushes us back up to a 3-year deal on Bura. That's decent. More of a jump, I think, for Nikushkin here. Yeah, a fairly decent one, but again, it's still a pretty cheap deal all in. 3 years at 1.4. Kamenev, we're going to be trading. 3.5 for 3. I think we take that extra couple of years on Zadorov, really. That will help us trade him, even if we don't want to keep him. Kamenev, though, I am definitely looking to trade. I want a second rounder. I really want a second rounder. I shouldn't get a second rounder for Kamenev, but I should if I stack some extra pieces on. Yeah, I should if I stack extra pieces on. We'll do that deal this year. That might be our one deal, apart from anything that's offered us, which we have to realistically consider. Greer, AJ Greer, 22-year-old, 2-star potential again for a depth kind of guy. Don't mind that. Tiny little increase for him. And then the big one, Tyson Jost. I don't know what I see, Jost. I don't know what I see him. Again, weigh in the comment section. This is as much your series as it is mine, guys. With a poor face-off rating, I think he's definitely a winger. He does shoot on his left hand. I mean, should we play him on the right? Should we play him on the left? How should we play him as well? I mean, we don't really get to choose if I'm only being the GM, I guess. But you're all the assistant GM. I'm the GM here. And then we'll figure out who our head coach going forward is going to be. But He doesn't seem to be the best right now. He really doesn't seem to be the best right now. But yeah, as a second line winger, maybe a third line winger, eventually a second line. Maybe right now a third line. I'll be quite happy with that. And long term, he could be near where Rantanen is. I don't believe that. I think his potential will go largely unfulfilled because, in real life anyway, I don't think he's shown enough at this early age to realistically expect him to take a jump up. But yeah, he's on a low deal. He's on his entry deal. So if I can get $2 million for 4 years, I'll be happy. 2 for 4. 3 for 4. 3 for 4. Did we actually offer that? I think we did. Yeah, we did. Okay, so 3 for 4 is a big deal. That's a big deal. Okay, Kamenev. Let's have a look what teams are interested first. Let's look at the teams that are interested. So, Canadians, Blackhawks, Red Wings. Red Wings could be good to get a second round pick from. Rangers, LA, Pittsburgh, St. Louis Blues, Buffalo, Vancouver, Islanders. Islanders might not be bad. That might be a lottery pick. New Jersey, Edmonton, Carolina, Arizona, San Jose, Ottawa. Ottawa's decent, boys. Ottawa's decent as well. They won't finish bottom of the pile, but it should be a low-down lottery pick, and maybe Detroit as well. Those would be the two I'd look at. So maybe explore some options with them. Any names that might tempt me here? Kobe Sissons. I was basically just giving up and getting back the same, really. Yeah. Got a couple of options there which could be along the lines of a Zadorov replacement, which is kind of how I'm looking at a couple of those players. So we've got a couple of these young defensemen who, 2-star potential defensemen. So depending what we like, if we do end up getting rid of Zadorov, we could bring in someone. Okay, there is that. The draft: Lafreniere, Byfield, Raymond Holtz, Lundell, Askarov, Perfetti, Drysdale, Barron, and Dylan Peterson are the top guys there. I expect us to be in the playoffs, but not by much. So I expect us to be, say, 18 to 22 range. So we could be getting a 4-star potential player. I believe that when we did this, who did we end up picking? I believe it was Theo Rocher. And also, Delamont fell down to the second round, where we had a number of second-round picks through trading. Not much else after the second round, but we were able to pick up him as well. So Theo there was currently rated as a 3.5-star player down at number 30. And Noah Delamont rated as a 4-star player at number 24. I had both of those in the test save. We're not going to have those two this time. We're going to be a bit further down the order unless things go against us. I think we had 81 million, so we've got less money to work with. That's not an issue. And yeah, we're on a 3-year deal. We have a little bit of room in the cap that we're not going to be taking advantage of. Yeah, I'm not really fussed with any of those players. Okay, so who was on free agency? Francis. Now, see, I picked up Francis before. Just a 3-star player. Why not? On a free, I think that makes too much sense at 700,000. Okay. Oh, we're so far over budget because we got extra players up here. Yes, of those, we can save $1 million on coal of a burial. Let's move a barrier down, save that money there. And really, I mean, that's it, right? That's all we've got to move down. So we do have options with those contracts coming in. So when those contracts come in, we'll be okay because we'll have the free agency money back. Okay, so we've got Elijah Francis there anyway. Let's do the trade then. The trade that I'm expecting to do. Let's start with Detroit. My goal here is a 2nd-round pick. That might be quite early to help us rebuild a little bit. And the main piece of that is Kamenev. And why Kamenev? Why do you think Kamenev is really the answer? Well, if I go here into team chemistry, you'll see that sometimes he appears over here as one of those poor players. It's actually got Tyson Jost as an outspoken player. I'm not really sure about that. See, I'm probably going to keep Jost anyway, but I've seen Kamenev be over there. We don't need him. Like long-term center plays, we've got Rocher. Now we can bring in a couple of others. Dries is there for the bottom line. Shane Bowers is there. Comfers is there. Kadri McKinnon are a 1 and 2 for the next few seasons. Tyson Jost could move into the center, but he can't take face-offs. But really, Kamenev, I think, is the easy one to lose. If we throw Barberio into the deal, I'll be happy with that. I can throw Baron in. We're well balanced already. Well balanced already. Okay. So now I can start looking around at what I want to do. If I'm going to throw him in, 3.5-star goaltender, we might as well throw him in there. And then Sagon, just to push it right over the top. So Kamenev, decent. Barberio is maybe a 7th D or a top 6 kind of D. Baron, not much there. Kvachka, though, is a 3.5-star potential goalie. And Saigon is a bottom 6 forward. So bottom 6, fringe starter, depth, 3rd-line defenseman, and a middle 6 forward. I think that's a lot, and we get him back 2 seconds. I think I'm happy with that, unless I can come up with something here. Riley be decent, but we've got Bokage, we've got Donskoy, we've got Nikushkin, we've got Burakovsky, Rantanen, Landeskog, Henry, Kaut, and always the possibility I push Timothy Comfort, JT Comfort, over onto the right wing as a winger. Yeah, no, I really don't think that I need a right wing, and I don't need a right defenseman. If anything, I'd need a left defenseman. Okay, we're going to offer that trade and see what that comes back as. 2 seconds would be really nice. And that would give us 9 picks in this year's draft. And it's only trading away a piece that we don't need now, and I don't think we need long-term either. So that would be Kamenev. But yeah, he's solid. He is solid, but he doesn't really play a role very well. Decent skater, good with the puck, but not great on injuries, not great intangibles. I mean, that's a real big mental and physical deficiency right there. But yeah, he will be decent. He will be decent. Yeah. I'm happy with that. Okay. So we're on July 1st. We got a long way to the season to go. Let's oh yeah, we should set up our manager options as well. And then we can simulate through like a week at a time and really not get too badly interrupted by things. But I decided to start on July 1st so that we could really get people back fit and try and see what we can do and give the game some time to like develop the world. There we go. Colm Wilson signs. Matt Nieto signs. Burakovsky, Nikushkin, Zadorov, Gria, Jost, all signs. JVR, 3-star, 3-star. Could he be somebody that's worthwhile picking up? I mean, he'd be a second line left wing for us. Great defensively, bit of physicals, solid player. JVR would not be bad. I mean, that would not be bad. There's been a trade. So Kurali, okay, he heads over to Detroit. And Boston get young Ethan Phillips. I mean, yeah, that's a deal I would do all the time. I think I'm with Boston there. I'm with Boston. Crowley's decent, but I'll take the extra little bit. Nick Dowd. Okay. So again, a 2-star center heads to St. Louis. And they give up a younger 2-star back, which, I mean, Dowd's a bit more defensive, but really Sundqvist is probably the better player. Caps there, get that. And tons of national teams, which does not interest me. Does not interest me. Okay, manager options. We're not going to set Do Not Disturb. We're not going into commissioner mode. We're going to get rid of those subscriptions now. So I'll hire the scouts, but let them sort out scouting so we can clip through seasons regularly, you know, quite smoothly, quite quickly. We will handle the rosters, assembling, trading, drafting. We're not going to watch the games until we get towards the playoffs. And we'll get the prospects playing when we can. So when I receive a trade or when a 2.5-star player hits waivers, I want to know about it. But apart from that, we'll let the game rumble on quite nicely. Okay. And that means if we go back here now, we have money for free agents. That means we can put a deal on the table for Elijah Francis, 3-star potential defender. Like I say, a really cheap deal for a defensive defenseman on that left-hand side. Long-term, though, he could be the replacement there for Zadorov. So him and Harrison coming through. McCarr and Timmins already in the team with Gerrard. And Bowen Byram to come up for next season. I think we're okay in defence. I think we're okay. We're a little bit weak now because we're young, but we'll be okay. And we've got our trade on the table for Detroit's 2 seconds. Because they do hold Washington second. I wasn't aware of that, but now that gives me more to play for. That'll give me more to play for. So day to day, you can see it doesn't simulate too badly. Fairly quick. It's close to being alright. Yeah, I thought it might be. Probably going to have to take Barry out there, honestly. Probably going to have to take Barbie out there. What else can we give up that we really don't want, but they might? See, they want a left defenseman. Don't think that's going to work. What do we got on the left defense? They didn't want Barbario. They're probably not going to want... Yeah, probably not going to want to take that on. Could go Young in Graves, but I'm not sure again that they really want that goalie. Try adding Werner in there, but they're getting Kvacha for the future. That's probably not going to work. And then a centre, which they're getting Kamina, which is why this deal works. Yeah, really, I think we're looking at a draft pick. I'm not sure a fifth will do. At one point, do they say yes? All the way to the third. No, it's not even going to be the third. Okay. Okay, if I get a fifth, I'm downgrade that. A second and a third. I mean, we're giving up Kvacha, who's probably a second, third round goaltender. Kamenev is probably a third round player himself. Saigon, I believe, was fairly high. Yeah, we're giving up a lot, but these are players I actually want to get rid of. So I'll take that deal. That's not a it's not a great one, but we're so close there. So losing Barbario and putting in a fifth, I don't think there's much difference. But they might just not want Barbario, and then we downgrade that Washington pick into Detroit's third. If Detroit are one of the worst teams in the league, and Washington one of the best, there's a negligible difference there anyway. So let's see what we have. And there we go. Elijah Francis has joined the Avalanche. Not great now, but got potential. He is not that young, so we'll see what happens. He's not very good right now, but he does have potential. So, yeah, he goes into the AHL. And if we're going to drop Kamenev, we need another player, don't we? We need another player. Who am I calling up here? So I want the right wing up. Could be Menga. I mean, just for depth, I think it would probably be Nick Henry out of those. I mean, I could bring up Bowers and drop out Belmer. There's not much of a difference there. Again, the guy potential. Let's leave Bowers down. Is there any other moves though I want to make within the organization? Doesn't really look like it. Okay, so without Kamenev, that'll be our lineup. So we'll have a first line of McKinnon with Landeskog and Rantanen. Kadri on the second line, probably with Joe Burakovsky and Donskoy. The other left winger will be in with probably Calvert and JT Comfort, and then Nieto, Belmer, and Nikushkin probably on the fourth line. That sounds okay to me. Top defensive line of Johnson and Gerard, just like real life, but not treated as good enough for the first line in game. And then McCarr and Zadorov, probably Cole when he comes back, but for now Zadorov. Then it will be Zadorov with Timmins. Yeah, a little bit weak there, That's fine. Okay, let's see if we can get this deal across the line. A little bit of a long episode. We will be trying to get these to about 35 minutes or below. But for this opening one, to explain a little bit about the team we've got now and how we're trying to set it up. And I really wanted this deal to go through. Okay. Doesn't seem like it's going to go through. It doesn't seem like it's going to go through. Okay. Again, they've got a lot of picks this year. I think Columbus would be probably better than Dallas, not by much. Again, we give up Kvachka and we give up... If I give up Steinberg... and then drop in a pair of late picks. 2 seconds. Go Kvachka, Kamenev, Steinberg, and a pair of lates. I'm happy with that deal. I mean, they might not be, but I'm happy with that deal. Okay. So, let's see if I can deal with Otto. Otherwise, I'll do it off camera. But we'll see what they come back with and if there's a way to make this work or if it'll work as is. But yeah. So, we'll simulate the first season. I'll go all the way up to the trade deadline and see. And yeah, we'll figure out what exactly we can do and what we need to do in different places. But for now, I'm pretty happy with how this is looking. But I think we will be a poor team. I do think we will be a poor team this year. It's okay, they won't do that. What thirds did the Sens have? Because again, if I give that there, see, we're giving up a lot. We're giving up a lot. Oh, that's their end. That's their end. Oops. I was thinking then, how did I get that pick? And if I put it in, why did it go down? So I go up a 5th and a 6th. So we're upgrading those 3 rounds each. Steinberg will be enough to upgrade by 1 round. Kamenev by 2 rounds. Kvachka by 3. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know if that's good enough or not. I need to keep remembering to do those. Yeah, I might be asking for a touch too much. If it goes through, I'll be happy with that deal, though. I think Yes, I've had to give up a decent center, but yeah, okay. So I think the basis of the deal is good. It's just working out the draft picks to go in. But we will do that off camera. It's okay. We've hit the 50-minute mark. We're going to leave things there for now. First episode done. Second episode on its way at more of a 30 to 35-minute range, probably, from here on out. I will sim up to the trade deadline. I will take a look around. I'll look at any trade offers that come in. But at that stage, I'm really not looking to make any moves. So we'll finish off the season. We'll go through the playoffs in the next video if we get to the playoffs. And we'll do the draft in the next video as well. So off-season will be largely done on camera, because I think that's going to be the interesting part of this series, especially early on, when I don't feel that we're a President's Trophy team or anywhere close. So, yeah, come back at the playoffs, and we'll see who got in, what our record was, who played well, who played badly, where we need to improve, and what moves we might want to make in that off-season and at the draft. But till then, thanks very much for stopping by. I'm Chris Orme with the start of our new series here on Franchise Hockey Manager 6, released a couple of days ago with your Colorado Avalanche. Till then, take care, and I'll see you soon.